Watchers, my name is Dead Boys in the Hood, and welcome back to the Chainsaw Massacre. Didn't think I would make another video on this, but I really enjoyed it. So, so as you guys are aware, I had to do, but you're not aware, because I decided to delve in deeper to the history behind the Chainsaw Massacre. And if this is a video that you want me to do on the channel, the whole of the history of the Chainsaw Massacre, let me know. Because maybe, hopefully when I get my laptop fixed, if you guys want me to do a reaction video to the Chainsaw Massacre, because I don't think YouTube works while broadcasting straight to YouTube, because YouTube, I don't think you can broadcast from YouTube to YouTube. But anyways, I will see what is done. But I thought I would make this and dive into the museum mode, and see if there is any kind of true history behind it. And these characters are based on real people, in case you did not know. One of them was a grave robber, cut off the victim's skin and wore it as a mask. Bit gruesome if I do say so myself. There was a guy called the Hitchhiker who would stand in the middle of the road and hitchhike and kill innocent women. And then there was an old man called Grandpa. So that is something. And then there was a person called Sissy as well. Alright, here we are. This is the museum mode. So I don't think anything bad can happen here, right? Is that him? That's him. Leatherface. The driveway. So yeah, he had different outfits as well. Alright. Oh, that's nice. There's a... That's an armadillo,
the opening
right?
shot. The armadillo in the opening shot of the film was an actual armadillo that production designer Robert Burns found on the side of the road and taxidermied himself. According to Robert Burns, the original script called for a shot of a dead dog on the side of the road, and then the camera would pan to the green van. After further thought, Tobe Hooper felt a dog was too domesticated to show in that light and deemed it too horrible for audiences. This is when an armadillo was decided to be their best bet, as it fit as a symbol for Texas. Robert Burns then found a dead armadillo on the side of the road and took it home himself to taxidermy the animal. This is how the opening shot of the film was born. Nice.
Through that entire thing, I just stared at a armadillo's asshole. I did not need to see that. Alright. So, this whole driveway is their house. The one that you see in the movie and in real life. So, for those of you who don't know the Chainsaw Massacre, it's based on a horrific true story based on a guy who would kill his victims with a chainsaw. But in the movie, you don't see the sissy, the hitchhiker, or the other guy?
Stop and turn. Gunnar Hansen's stop and turn move was an accident. The boots that Gunnar Hansen wore had 3-inch lifts to make him taller, though because of this, if he didn't stop suddenly and then turn, he would lose his balance and fall. The weight of the chainsaw also impacted his movements due to its sheer weight. So after falling on the first take, Gunnar stopped, turned, and one of Leatherface's signature moves was created in the unrated gameplay trailer of our game.
I see. I mean, the camera is a little bit slow to walk around in. Well, that's charming. A chair made out of bones and hands. I don't know why that was interactable. Okay. Is there anything interactable here? No. Okay, so Pretty Lady Dance, Marrow Mellow's Car Graveyard, GXB 636 Car Graveyard. What has 7 arms but no head, 5 legs but can't walk? Multiple dead people. And Chicken Nugget. Okay.
Booty shorts. A lot of shots were set up on the fly during principal photography by Daniel Pearl and Toby Hooper. One such shot, that Hooper would years later call the best shot in the film, was no exception. That shot, of course, being the iconic shot of Pam approaching the family house. Cinematographer Daniel Pearl was laying flat on a dolly with the camera tilted up. The goal of the shot was to make the house appear bigger and bigger in the frame as Pam approached it.
Fucking creep. Staring at a lady's ass all fucking day, and you actually got money out of that? That's a long way down. I don't think I want to go down there. So the stuff that he's saying is quoting the movie so far, so I don't think it has anything to do with the actual real life.
Truck. For the film, Gunnar Hansen found Leatherface's voice while driving in Austin, Texas. I remember exactly where I was. I had just turned south on Rio Grande from 19th Street, just south of the university. In a once elegant neighborhood of multi-story houses slowly being transformed into funky offices for lawyers and architects, from somewhere deep inside, I let out a piercing, agonizing howl. A big howl. I had to stop the car. The hair was standing up on my neck and arms. An unpleasant tingle ran down my spine. I was frightened. I drove home and went to bed, pulling the covers over my head. I don't ever want to make that sound again.
Interesting. Wait, I actually have to find a code in order to get in? Do I actually have to find a fucking code? Wait. Is that the code? So there's a chicken nugget somewhere. Um, what has 7 arms, no head, 5 legs, but can't walk? And that's in the front yard. Is it this? Seven arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that only has 5. No head. I am very confused. Alright, so it's something in the front yard. Alright, wait.
Hey there!
Oh, him! Oh, I see, okay. Alright, so... Is a code on anything? Oh, this is the exterior. So there is a way for me to go inside. I hear chickens. We had to lock the barn due to some teenagers trying to break in. If you forgot the code, look at the cook's truck. Is... Fucking... Jesus, did you have to like jump out the
Escape
window?
hatch. When Sally, Marilyn Burns, escapes by jumping out the window, the glass was actually breakaway sugar glass, made by Bob Burns and Mary Church. In fact, Mary did the stunt of jumping out the window. A mattress and some empty boxes were placed outside the window for her to land on, but setting up the shot took a long time. With the humidity of the Texas summer, the breakaway glass began to dissolve. When I went through it, I was like a glass woman because now I had little particles stuck all over me because the stuff was wet, Mary said. If they'd waited probably another 45 minutes, I don't know if there'd been any glass in those windows.
Yeah, that's a thing with breakaway glass. So with breakaway glass, it's one of prop masters' favorite things to do because they can make it with, they can do it with windows, they can do it with bottles, they can do it with pretty much anything. So 5468, 5468, 5468, 5468. 5468. Alright. 5468. And in here there should be a chicken nugget. Why would you call that a chicken nugget? That's just a chicken.
Chicken Nugget. The game's composer, Ross Tregenza, used real chickens for the audio for Nugget. He luckily had a close friend and fellow composer that owned a farm with several chickens. The name Nugget was born from brand strategy lead Matthew Zepp. The name is a nod to the longtime nickname of his nephew.
Oh, okay. So chicken nugget is a nickname given to the chicken from a nephew. Okay. Interesting. Alright. In the exterior, pretty lady dancing. So somewhere here there's a pretty lady dancing. Because that's the barn. Here is the exterior.
Fake hammer, real impact. The scenes in the movie with the sledgehammer seem real, and there's good reason for that. Though the prop master Bob Burns made a fake hammer with a foam rubber head, there were still complications. Leatherface actor Gunnar Hansen recalled hitting actor William Vale while filming Kirk's death scene. I was completely charged up on adrenaline, skittishly hopping back and forth as if I were speeding. So when Bill tripped and I stepped out of the shadows, I actually hit him in the face with the sledgehammer. Fake or not, it left its mark. In the pivotal dinner scene, actor Marilyn Burns, who played Sally, was actually struck and bled. I went to the bucket, said Burns, and then Grandpa hit me over the head with the other prop that was a piece of steel, a sledgehammer. That hurt. That wasn't fake. As Hansen noted, some of the blood in Sally's hair is actually Marilyn's.
Okay. So someone actually got hit with an actual sledgehammer. Charming. I don't understand. So somewhere here is a pretty lady dancing. Alright, I don't want to mess around. So, GKB. GKB. So we're looking for a number plate that reads GKB.
Car. In one notable scene in the original film, the cook approaches the house and sees the hitchhiker. They have an altercation at the truck where the cook beats the hitchhiker with a broom handle and clearly shows off the relationship between the two characters. The reason that the scene works so well is that it's entirely real. Jim Sedow, the cook, was actually beating Ed Neal, the hitchhiker.
Okay. Pretty lady dance. It can't be that, can it? Right, GKB 636. I don't see it. What's the other one? Marrow Meadows Car Graveyard. Marrow Meadows.
Car radio. The song on the radio when the hitchhiker is picked up in the van is Roger Bartlett's Fool for a Blonde. Bartlett has said that Tobe Hooper chose the song because he thought the hitchhiker was a fool for Sally.
Interesting. I don't know where these ones are. I mean, why would I? Alright.
Car radio. The song on the radio.
Um. I might have to search these up. because I don't know where they are.
skin lampshades. Why was the film marketed as being based on true events? According to Kim Henkel, the film's marketing of being based on true events evolved over production. The famous crawl, for instance, was implemented to mark the story as an historical event that was more captivating, but wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Another inspiration for the story were tales Tobe Hooper was told by his family as a young child. They told him stories of a killer from Wisconsin that would use human skin for lampshades. This Wisconsin killer was the infamous Ed Gein. Makeup set. Gunnar Hansen shared a lot of praise for his fellow cast members. In the 40th anniversary Blu-ray release's audio commentary, Hansen notes that actor Jim Siedow, the cook, was probably the only actor in the movie who could look benign and then become extremely evil without any makeup. Possible titles. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't the first or even second title of the film. The first two working titles were Head Cheese and Leatherface. Head Cheese was the first working title of the film, though, for most of principal photography. Leatherface was the working title until late into production, when it was finally given the official title of The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Kim Henkel and Tobe Hooper intended for the title to be spelled Chainsaw, but once the press were sent information on the film, and when the original poster was produced, the spelling got twisted into Chainsaw. Cheap thrills. Screenwriter Kim Henkel has said that one of the reasons he and Tobe Hooper wanted to make a horror film was their limited budget. If you have relatively little money, what are your possibilities? Henkel says. The clear answer was some sort of genre piece. Horror was the easiest because we felt that we didn't have to have any names in the cast. Production values weren't nearly so important as in some other realms, so it became the natural choice. He really cut her. According to Gunnar Hansen, he really cut Marilyn Burns' finger in the infamous grandpa feeding scene. The prop knife, designed to pump out fake blood, wouldn't work after several takes. Finally, when no one was looking, Gunnar Hansen removed the tape from the knife that made it dull and really cut Marilyn's finger. Knowing this, that would mean that actor John Dugan, Grandpa, sucked on the actual blood of Marilyn Burns. Kim and Tobe before Texas. Kim Henkel and Tobe Hooper met during the filming of Hooper's 1969 film Eggshells. 4 years later, they would go on to create the production company Vortex Inc. and co-create the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Another Texas Chainsaw actor was also part of the Eggshells cast. Alan Danziger, better known as Jerry to Chainsaw fans, co-starred in the earlier film. Genuine bone furnishings. The bones used for props were real animal bones found at a veterinarian boneyard and a cattle pasture. Art director Robert Burns led the charge of designing most of the bone props, like furniture and light fixtures. Ashtray. Actors are paid varying amounts for their work in film. For his voiceover in the opening monologue of the film, John Larroquette was paid with a single joint. Recent reports, however, suggest that his rate has gone up. Friend of Leatherface. Since both of her parents were working on the film, 3-year-old Karina Nicolau was often on set and struck up a friendship with Leatherface actor Gunnar Hansen. He recalled their interactions. She had never liked my Leatherface mask. She was sitting with me one day while I waited for a shot setup. When Dottie, makeup artist Dorothy J. Pearl, came to put on my mask, it horrified Karina. As soon as it covered my face, she started screaming. I had Dottie pull it off. "See?" I said. "It's just me." She calmed down, but when I put the mask on again, she started screaming again. I realized she was too young to make the leap, to see my transformation from Gunner to Leatherface and understand that I was still under the mask. So I made sure she never saw me in the mask after that, at least until the unfortunate meat hook scene. The Apprehension Engine. Gun Interactive's own Wes Keltner led the direction of music for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. One day, Wes was at home brainstorming, and in the background he had 2015's The Witch playing. He wasn't watching the film, but was more listening to it. The sounds and music in the film struck him as he was listening. He asked himself, what instruments are they using to make those unique sounds? It turned out, those sounds were created by an apprehension engine. Wes was able to track down Tony Dugan Smith, who makes roughly 6 of these instruments a year, and was informed that the apprehension engine took around 7 months to build. Wes then had the honor to have a meeting with film composer and creator of music for The Witch, Mark Corvin. It was at this meeting where Corvin said, "Forget everything you know about playing guitar and other instruments. Approach the apprehension engine like a child, and experience and discover." From there, the direction of sounds for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game were born. The dinner scene. The infamous dinner scene was a long, trying shoot. Plastic surgeon W.E. Barnes created the makeup for Grandpa, and it took nearly 10 hours to apply to actor John Dugan. A lot of pieces and parts went into creating Grandpa's look. But because they were down to their last set of makeup parts, the crew had to shoot every scene involving Grandpa all in one day. The grueling shoot was one of the hottest days of the production, with temperatures over 100 degrees. The set windows were blacked out with black plastic in a house filled with cameras and lights that reached as high as 120 degrees inside. Because of the extreme heat on set, the food at the dinner table started to rot. The smell on set was ghastly for the entire cast and crew. All of the bones on the set were real, and combined with the lights that made them burn, released an unbearable smell. The combination of the stench with the extreme heat made a lot of the crew sick, and they'd take frequent trips outside to throw up. In the end, the brutal set brought a real rawness to the film. The shoot in total lasted nearly 32 hours for some of the crew. The dinners. Preparing for the role. To prepare for the role of Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen went to Austin State School, which was a 95-acre residential and training facility for adults with developmental disabilities. He was there several days to pick up the residents' mannerisms and how they walked and talked. It was important to Gunnar to portray the character authentically, without making a mockery of those who suffer from developmental disabilities. Hitchhiker's Camera. The make and model of the Hitchhiker's Camera is a Polaroid automatic 230 land camera. It was manufactured and distributed from 1967 to 1969. This camera previously belonged to Maria Flores. The hitchhiker stole it after she was stalked and kidnapped by Johnny. One outfit, 32 days. Actors only had one set of their wardrobe. The actors had to wear the same clothing for the entire 32-day shoot, 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. For fear of fading or being damaged, they couldn't wash the clothes. So the actors wore the same clothes unwashed for 32 days straight. In one outfit, 32 days. Actors only had one set of their wardrobe. The actors had to wear the same clothing for the entire 32-day shoot, 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. For fear of fading or being damaged, they couldn't wash the clothes. So the actors wore the same clothes unwashed for 32 days straight, in 95 to 100-degree Texas heat. According to the crew, Gunnar Hansen stunk of body odor worse than anyone on set by the end of the shoot. Box office success. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre grossed over $30 million at the box office in North America and sold over 16 million tickets. With inflation, the film would have made over $150 million in box office earnings today. Production manager Ron Bozeman would go on to work on another film that featured cannibalism. In 1992, he won an Academy Award as a producer for The Silence of the Lambs. Spring of '73. Kim Henkel and Tobe Hooper spent January and February of 1973 writing the script, but production moved on rather quickly after that. They were shooting the movie by summer of 1973. Blood spatter. One of the reasons that blood and gore are limited in the film is because Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel felt that fear and intensity were more important. According to screenwriter Kim Henkel, he and Tobe Hooper reached out to the MPAA to discuss the guidelines to avoid getting slapped with an X rating. Apparently, the investors of the film were terrified that the film would get an X rating, so all these thoughts were front of mind during production. Ultimately, Hooper and Henkel's original vision of inflicting fear and intensity with the gore and blood implied worked to the film's benefit and made a bigger impact. Scaring a child. In the original movie shoot, the caterer, Sally Nicolau, was married to the location sound recordist, Ted Nicolau. The day they shot the meat hook scenes, Sally brought their then 3-year-old daughter, Karina, to set when she was delivering lunch. Unfortunately, little Karina saw Terry McMinn, Pam, on the meat hook and began crying and screaming. Her father recalled, "I was in the living room while we were shooting that scene, and she came running in and skidded to a stop and just went completely white, started screaming and crying, and went running out of the house.